Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. Good evening and welcome to Rethink Politics, where we circle the globe and talk about the issues on hand. And I have my two co-hosts here, E and our co-host Chaz. What's going on, CJ?
What's up, y'all? I'm about to celebrate this Columbus colonizing day.
Colonize?
Yeah. I'm about to go.
Indian Genocide Day. That's what I call it. Me and my brother call it the Indian Genocide Day.
Yeah,
Don't get it twisted.
I'm about to eat some sandwiches, shoot some people in the face, some blankets with measles. You know, just a regular.
Oh, okay.
Gonna Cheney that ass. Cheney that ass.
Hey, just real quick. I already have an attitude because we can't do nicknames how we used to. So I can't even think of something clever real quick before the podcast. Ain't that a bitch?
Just introduce yourself as the clever or whatever. Even though, let's give a shout out to finally Apple having a conference update to their software, so you can actually have multiple people on to do FaceTime.
Mike, nobody say conference. It's called group FaceTime, bro.
Oh, group FaceTime. Oh my God.
You know, the web conference.
Of the web conference.
On the internet.
No.
Yeah, it's like, Mike, you can get your ass out of here. What the fuck are you talking about? Bro, you sound like those senators up there. So,
yeah, I know. Like, conference? The fuck you talking about? Group FaceTime with your old ass, right? Yeah. Anywho, so we got a couple of things. The last podcast we was talking about our little predictions with the election on last Tuesday. We was talking about who's gonna come out ahead, how many governors that was gonna hit out, and we had a couple of African Americans that was there, but things kind of went good and bad. So it was a balancing act. Sometimes you got to take the good with the bad. So
well, for the record, I'm pretty sure my prediction was the blue wave, and then I was questionable on Georgia, just in general.
Right.
But I did cross my fingers that we would get Georgia and Florida. But as you already know, that didn't work out. So
let's put a point on that. Because think about this, and I'm going to go straight to Florida with Gilliam down there. So he came so close that it was still questionable that he probably could have won. But if you didn't know, there was something on the ballot to say that convicted felons will be able to vote now. And if you look at what Fox always says, the people who are convicted felons are minorities. So that's going to tell you something different as well. So if you got that majority of minorities that are convicted felons, but now they can actually vote, and then you actually, I guess, assist or empower them, that's going to be another big push for maybe the Democratic side. What y'all think?
Within Florida?
Yeah, Florida, because they the only one who actually did that. There's a couple of states that already has that, but Florida is major because that's one of the biggest swing states anyway.
I want to go high level for a second, just because I think I still struggle with the concept of getting people to vote.
Right.
And again, the felons are going to vote because they didn't have the ability to vote.
Right.
So I think they're gonna turn out in high numbers, so they can very well be difference makers. I think a lot of elections were 50 to 100,000 vote differences.
Yeah.
So having like 1.4, or I forget if it was 1.4 million or whoever people that impacts, that's huge. But like when I think of the whole idea of, I get that there's voter suppression, so maybe I don't know the difference between or let's canvas and organize versus let's combat voter suppression, because to me, getting people to vote, it seems to be such a big issue. I don't know.
So part of the voter suppression. Well, before I say that, what's your thoughts, E?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the same thing I'm thinking. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of more of on the outside because I'm still confused how the hell we lost
What the
the
Senate
race.
sides?
Yeah, but I want to know what you think, Mike. I'm a
Yeah.
little more
So
intrigued in what you
here's
think.
the thing that I kind of was evaluating as well is if you didn't look at it very closely, there was a lot of local change. So there was a lot of local senators and congressmen for Georgia, for Florida, and all these other states. That's where the gerrymandering can stop. So the voter suppression and the voting lines are changing. If you get the Democrats back, that's a law. You can just change it whenever you want. As long as you are the majority, you can make the change. So when you say, how do you get people to vote? You got to make it easier first. And then if you make it easy, you got to make it easily accessible for people to vote. And the Republicans only win when there's less votes. The Democrats win when there's more votes.
Right.
And this is where record number went out, and that's where you saw a lot of Democratic elections winning. But where the places where the gerrymandering and the governor's race in Georgia, he already had a system of denying people. Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about this because, this impacted folks in the House.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about people in Atlanta. Like, I'm not talking about, like, they're going to target, some obscure county in Georgia. No, like, in polling places within the city of Atlanta, you have long lines.
Right.
And, like, you already know the population beforehand. You already know. And it's like, basically, going forward, you almost have to make early voting mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you turn up on election day, there's going to be shenanigans. You can no longer trust that, they're not going to try some nonsense like, does it match? Or, so if I show up to vote early and there's some nonsense, at the worst case scenario, I clear it up and I show up to vote on election day.
Right.
If I show up to vote on election day and there's nonsense, either I can't wait on the line. It's just, to me, it's frustrating because, you think it's 2018,
Hell yeah, man.
iPhone can do what? Android can do what? But you mean to tell me we got big ass, old ass voting machines, 4 per precinct, per, and there's like 100 people there, and it takes you a minute to go through. At least in Georgia, Mike. You got to go through that bitch, and you need like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
a good 5 minutes, and it may take longer because I got my ballot right here with me.
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah, so they had like little special elections and a couple of other things that they wanted to do, and I wanted to just take it with me. And if you did not read this, you're fucked. Yeah, you're fucked because there's a lot of stuff on here that they wanted to change. And if you say, that's fine, you're gonna get your ass taxed for something that you probably wouldn't want.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a business owner.
Exactly. So it was odd that, one fact that you're saying that. But here's a couple of things that I found out with a couple of people when they said they was going to vote on election day. It's almost like compare it to like the release of the iPhone. You can wait, but some people just want to be at the day and feel like my vote really counts. I said your vote counts a week ahead, goddammit.
You know what? The psychology is what you're saying.
Yes.
Like, I'm in the crowd. I'm part of it. I'm participating.
And I could be the last amount of votes that made the swing. You could have been the last amount of votes a couple of days before that.
I don't know if that makes a difference, though.
I don't. I really don't.
Yeah. It does affect the lines. The lines end up getting longer just because somebody decided to wait, even though they could have done it earlier.
It makes a huge difference. I'll say this about Atlanta. For the city of Atlanta, there are early voting locations. So, in other words, if I'm on North Side and there happens to be a voting location that's early on North Side, I can vote there. My voting, my actual precinct is obviously half a mile near the house. So in other words, what I'm saying is if you early vote, you have an incentive, you have the advantage of more locations, more times, Saturdays, which is huge, Sundays, which is very huge, versus a Tuesday in the daytime and only one location where you have to go to that location.
Yep.
Now, obviously, I think, my personal opinion, it's kind of like if it's anywhere in the county, I think that's fair game. But I get that. But that's kind of the fucked up thing, because if you say, well, we don't want people to vote just any precinct because we want to control, we want to anticipate how many people, how many heads we get.
Right.
We know there's going to be a maximum of this many people, but you obviously fucked it up so bad that the argument goes out the window, because if you knew so many people lived here or approximately lived here, how did you get it so wrong? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But if you look at it, and this is where I have the concern with too, they had some that were overheating. You know what I mean? These things, you got MacBooks and Dell and all of that, computers that don't overheat anymore because they made them so they won't overheat. But yet you got this archaic shit that's overheating.
Yeah.
Come
the
on,
look like arcade games. It looks like you can play Pac-Man on that shit.
Exactly.
And computers.
Yeah, but in some places,
kiosks.
They'll keep trying to say, well, we need to go back to the kiosks. We need to go back to paper ballots. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're going backwards. Well, if a person's name on it, then I believe it. Wait a minute.
That's the old school heads, That's what that is.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean, that should be. See, the thing about that is that should be like Plan C. At the end of the day, that's it's like a credit card. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you can still like get the number and jot it down, or they have like a whole stamping process that
you put that card down and then it just roll it over the top and say, well,
roll it over.
The machine doesn't fucking work, so we gotta imprint this over this little shit. But
you sign it, you're good, and then that goes into the system, and it's a manual way of doing it. But why is that the only option in a lot of these places?
Right.
That's what I don't understand.
I don't know.
Because voting is a privilege to some and mandatory for others. Part of being a citizen, it should be mandatory. You should, in this day and age, hey, here's your key, just almost like Bitcoin. No one can use this key but you. So
like a blockchain.
Like a blockchain. Once you use it, it's done. You can't use it again. And you're locked in. If you fucked up, that's on you. That means you still made the wrong mistake and you can't go back. But that's the same thing you do if you walk into one of these kiosk voting booths. So that's the thing that technology they don't want to move to, because you got these old heads, and you seeing the whole Senate is these old white men, and the young white men that's coming in is kind of scratching their head like, damn, do I have to agree with this shit? I guess I'm part of the party. And I'm seeing the change in a lot of stuff that's going on, which made it really interesting. But the voter suppression starts locally. If you can get your local people in place to say, now that I'm in, this shit's going to stop.
Yeah, because that's all Secretary of State. So like you said, you just do, it's all strategic. Yeah, you start local, and then you get judges, state people, and then the playbook is just so clear.
Yep.
It's very obvious.
Or you could go even bigger, like maybe the House, now that it's Democrat majority, they could put a committee together, which they can easily do, that's just focused on enhancing or improving the voter voting system.
That would be huge.
Yeah. That would be amazing, and then they can easily use Trump's words against him and say, "Oh yeah, in this system we'll avoid voter fraud,"
and
but
people
really
won't be wearing wigs.
Updating.
Yeah. And going in their car, changing their clothes and putting wigs on and shit.
Yeah.
I don't even understand why there hasn't been a conversation. Like, we should be hearing that as much as immigration, and the border and a lot of the stuff that we talk about right now, healthcare. As much as politicians love their positions and they want to, hold their positions, you would think that voting would be one of the top discussions that they would have. And then it's a yearly, bi-yearly conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously they have an agenda. So maybe more people have access to vote than they'll vote that ass about it.
Yep, exactly. And that's what Pelosi is right now. She's in the position, segue.
Bro.
She's in the position right now that people are saying, I'm done with you. I'm tired of you because you don't step in to do anything.
So Bill Maher, first of all, Bill Maher is still one of the liberal voices, so
Yeah.
And
why you say it like that?
Because there's nobody in terms of the media like Rachel Maddow or nobody in MSNBC for me. I don't fuck with him. No, really, nobody on. I don't like Anderson Cooper except when he's on 60 Minutes. I feel like that's when he's a real journalist. His show is not him. That's not him saving babies and whatever the fuck he got famous for.
So I'm a Rachel Maddow fan because she goes into the research of things. She does more research than any of the other ones that's on there. And Brian Williams, he's just a clown at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But Rachel actually does research that I can associate to some partial news that you hear. She'll give you the level of details after that.
Fair enough. I'll just say Bill Maher, he was, this is an anecdote and opinion, but he was just saying Nancy Pelosi's already tainted and used for attacks.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
Why use anyone else? And I feel like that argument, to me, is flawed. But some people, I think political people, people in the House, they agree. And I don't know. I wanted to see, how did you guys... Mike, you brought up Nancy Pelosi. How do you feel about that argument? You know what I mean?
So I heard that because I normally see it on Mondays because, I'm working all weekend. So when I saw it on Monday, when he said that, he said, why taint a new person when you already have somebody who they hate and go through it? But she's not doing anything modern-wise. I'm not, and don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she's not doing anything. So let me correct that.
Oh, no new shit.
She's not doing anything progressive. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to get in front of the camera, she's there. I see other senators that's showing up on these shows more than she is. Now, maybe they're not showing her, or she said, I ain't got time to do this. But that's a problem being that leader of the House, even if it's the minority. I don't see her enough. I should be seeing her each and every time like she's the next line of being the president.
So you saying? Oh, go ahead, E.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like I see her a lot actually.
Yeah.
I don't
see much of anyone else. I mean, right now we don't see her because we're too busy looking at Trump and Paul Ryan and all these other people. So it's more like she's just drowned out right now. If anything.
Yeah, I don't think visibility is a problem with Pelosi. I think it's not visibility or lack of visibility. It's and I can't really articulate it. It's a lack of modernness. Like if she's a DJ, she's got that bitch with records and the old school amplifier
and playing 70s shit. And
she's breakdancing. It's like if you don't like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
old school stuff.
She's motherfuckers who's wearing Adidas jumpsuits now, and it's like, come on.
Well, you can make the argument that her ideas are archaic, and are like we argued all this stuff like a decade ago. It's like, come on now, like
she has the same talking points.
Yeah, like I don't hear anything that she's talking about right now that deals with like stuff that are going to come in the future, like things that we're talking about today. Everything is kind of old school, and I don't hear new ideas from the Democratic Party in general. It's guys like Andrew Gillum. That's like is it Gillum or Gillum?
Gillum.
I think Gillum.
Gillum, and then he's coming up with new
Lord
ideas.
Of the Rings.
Yeah. So I don't really know if I mean maybe she's the safe pick, because she's gotten things done. It's just can we move on,
bro? But she was Speaker of the House 10 years ago.
Yeah, but we need to move ahead. We need some.
I know we need to
progress. We need some progression. And there's a lot of young voices that's out there, and even some of the middle line people who's stepping up and saying, I'm not sure. I want to see who the candidate is. And that's the other thing. Who's the next candidate? They said this other older guy, and I don't know who his name came out of nowhere, but I'm kind of whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
No. It's the woman, the black woman.
Marsha Fudge. Yeah, they had that on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Saying, I'm a black woman with a different name. What else can they say about me? I was like, oh my God, yeah, a lot of shit.
A fucking field day.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like a motherfucker being called old Blanco. It's like
I know.
Republicans call what?
Old Blanco. Yo, Cinco Blanco.
It's like we gotta call it.
It's the fudge lady up in this bitch.
Yeah, dry board eraser looking ass. I don't know. It's like, bro, just get somebody who's like 42 to call it a day. So you know what? New rule.
Oh, y'all don't want her though?
Be under 55.
Yeah.
Is that too much to ask?
Yeah. The limit should be 45 and under. We don't need none of that other shit. Just.
Well, how old is she? Oh, wow! I didn't realize she was 66.
What?
Which
Marsha
one?
Fudge. Marsha Fudge.
Old.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I had no idea she was that old.
Yeah. So shit. Yeah.
Like, I was getting mad at y'all. I was like, what y'all talking about, man? She's 66.
Look,
66.
Here's a test. You ask a motherfucker what concert you want to go to. But they say the Supremes, Diana Ross. Fuck out of here. Yeah. Michael Bublé.
Yeah, no
like,
shit.
Nah.
So that's where we're gonna see how the Democratic Party will either turn, or even if she stays in it. This is what I hope. If she stays in and they make her the speaker, you have some voices that's gonna pressure her to say, I don't care if you're the speaker or not, you have to do this. And it's going to be beating on her so much that she's going to have to say, I have to give in. But she put all these other old cats on these committees. And you still got the older people that's on these committees. Now, that's experience. That's the good thing. We got experience. But sometimes if you keep thinking back to your point of music, hey, look, people always get up when they hear Rob Bass. The fuck you want to hear Rob Bass for? Come on now, goddamn! It takes two to make a thing go right. Get the fuck out of here with that. We need something a little better because you'll get more people with something more modern. Just not a hype old school thinking about, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. It has to change. And maybe she doesn't lose a position, but she has to change the way the party is being ran. And I think that's the problem.
I mean, what's the message of the party at this point? We kind of got it, but I think we'll have it with the leadership of Stacey Abrams, Andrew Gillum, fucking Beto, and these other people, the Muslim women who won.
The gay women that won.
Yeah, this new coalition. They can let them shape the agenda. You know what I'm saying?
So going again with the amount of women that's in the House now. It's like a record number of women that's there. And then there was a set of women that didn't win, but it was still close. There was a lot of women that would have been in the House that's pretty phenomenal. And those are the ideas I like to hear. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because you're a woman don't mean you have a good idea and you for things, because you see a lot of women that's in the Republican Party that's pretty fucked up thinking. Like the Alabama senator who's talking about, I'll go to a lynching. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All she had to say was, make sure I'll bring my own blacks. You know what I'm saying?
And doubling down, too, by the way.
Yeah. I made my statement, and I'm going to stick to it.
Doubling down is the wave, though. Come on. You know, everybody doubling down.
For them.
I'll shoot you. Yeah. What did you mean? Motherfucker, I'll kill you.
I'll kill you. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody doubles down now. I ain't even tripping on that. I want to make a quick point with the women thing. So, like, to me, it's the same idea. Anytime you're under attack, there's going to be more urgency. So, how a guy may feel a certain way, see Trump in there, blah, blah, blah. But if you're a woman and, you know, it's like he's obviously says things about women. He's been accused the Stormy Daniels thing. You know, he's just whatever. So if you're a woman and you're just like, oh my God, there's going to be more of an urgency. So I can feel a sense of, like, if you're a felon who receives their vote, then like, I'm going to organize. I'm going to make sure other felon people I know, make sure they get their stuff up to date. Hopefully you're going to stay out of trouble. Like the felon, you know, not the women need to stay out of trouble, but hopefully, you know, you're going to make sure everything is A1. So I think they're going to be a little bit more make everything's going to be up to date. and cross your T's, dot the I's versus your other candidate who's just I want to run for another reason.
So, you, what is your thought on that, though?
Yeah.
You scratching your head on that one? What's up?
Local man against women in government.
No. I mean, we already got there's record numbers already. So obviously there's a movement happening, which is great. But not all ideas are the best ideas.
True.
But I mean, I don't. I mean, I don't have any. I feel like women jumping into the politics in general is exactly what this country needs in the first place, anyway.
Because that's what the country looks like.
Yeah, that's what the country looks like. That's probably part of the problem we have right now. Like so many white men. I mean, it's not just white men. I mean, it's just men in general. It's just taking over. The government, and I mean, when you have a lot of testosterone in the room, that's when you get all these crazy ass ideas. Sometimes I know I sound like a woman saying that, but but you know what I'm saying, like.
But you're sensitive to those issues. And that's what women are asking for. Be sensitive to our issues. Opinion. Yeah.
That's also that. I mean, that's the way I feel about it in general. It's hard to say what it looks like. Ultimately, now that they've won those positions.
So my problem with it is I've seen Republican women running and winning, and the Republican women that's in the Senate are agreeing with the white men that are actually, going with Trump's ideas. That's where I have the problem with. Even though we saying, there's a sense of urgency of women saying we're just being disrespected and I have to get in there. There's other ones that are politicians and saying, well, I've been in office, so I want to be a senator now, or I want to be a congresswoman, or I want to be a governor. That's where my problem is. Gender doesn't make a difference when your mindset isn't for making things better. Some people, just like men, they got women who just want that power.
So, in other words, you're saying some people are just going for that natural progression.
Yeah.
I did X, and I was trying, I did A, and I was trying to do B, then C, then et cetera, until they get that pinnacle position.
Yeah. So you got to listen to who these people are. There's a lot of these female governors who was talking like, no, shit's just got to change. And you know what? We're not going to let the government or the president dictate what's going on in our state. I like to hear that. When you hear, yes, and the president, we have to support our president, we got to, no, stop that. This guy is ruining the country, but since you want to do your progression, that's not a good thing. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to put that in that sense because it was really odd to see that many women, but then I see a lot of women on the Republican side. And then I just was thinking about when the Supreme Court decision was done, and you have all these women who said, yeah, I think he's a good guy. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
That party line is a bitch, ain't it?
It's a bitch. Yeah. So it doesn't really, and no offense, that wasn't a pun. But that's where sometimes don't get jaded because of what's going on and the Me Too and all that. Don't get jaded just because we want to continue to push these women. You got to really listen to what they're saying. Just like these men. Some of them are just saying the right thing, like Beto. Beto was right there at the point of winning, and now they're calling him the white Obama. And I thought that was amazing when you compare a white man to the greatness of a black man. That's really weird to hear.
Whoa, wait a minute. Let's pump the brakes. Wait, whoa. So when I hear that, all I'm thinking is this is just somebody who is, at this point, people are excited. This person is just galvanizing. Nobody is saying on that level, like more so like 2008 candidate Obama. Obviously not the president. Obviously not none of that. To me, that's what I hear.
So you're hearing that, but think of who's hearing it. I'm not talking about you hearing it.
You peel the
think
layers.
Who's hearing that.
Because for me, the layer I'm at, I think I'm thinking on a reasonable level. Like, okay, this person. In other words, this is to me what people should hear is this is a candidate who people get excited about. Basically, it's kind of like Hillary. Like when Hillary makes a speech, it's kind of like yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you immediately forget.
Bored.
Yeah, you immediately forget what she said. Wasn't really, just people just question whether it's fair or unfairly. I'm saying, I'm not saying it was fair, but just genuine authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
So and also with Beto, I think people say, okay, this person, I can donate, and it doesn't feel like a waste. Versus fucking, I don't know, like Joe Biden, are you gonna do it? Yeah, I don't know. Other candidate, are you really gonna run? You bullshitting? Do you have a chance? I don't know. All right, okay, this fucking guy can do it. So to me, that's what I see. Just like with Obama. Whoa, shit, he can win. I'm in. I'm all in. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Is that incorrect?
No, you're not incorrect. I'm thinking about people, and jump in if you see different. But I'm thinking about people. I'm not thinking sensible. I'm sensible. I get it.
Okay. You're thinking for the about unreasonable.
The unreasonable people.
Tell me about the unreasonable people.
So the unreasonable people, because let me give you an example. My wife and I, we went to see Widows, which is the new Steve McQueen movie.
The heist joint, yeah.
So I thought it was really, really good, but I'm sitting in the theater and black people walked out.
What?
Because
hold on, don't give it away though.
Yeah, because it's not what they thought it was supposed to be. So your impression is this is a black movie. Either it's going to be, exciting and shoot 'em up and blah, blah, blah. But you forget that the type of director this is, what it's going to be. It was intense. It was a lot of good things in it. But it wasn't what these black people thought it was. So I always think about what the other person is thinking. And my wife was upset. She was like, you black people always want to see good goddamn movies, and you walk out of a goddamn movie. I was like, all right. But I was just
cursing them out.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it as I know they're going to do that because people are only educated and ignorant of the fact of what something really is. So when I think about the white Obama, now you got black people saying, how dare you say that? He's not as good. No, they're not saying that. They're saying he has that kind of charisma and that feel.
He's talking about you, Chaz. That's what he's saying.
So you're just saying that there's people who are already that those percentage points of error he needs, he has to work harder to win back just based off the incorrect narrative,
exactly,
and assumptions. I get what you're saying,
and that's where I always have concern because with the way media is driving now, it can be distorted, and all you need is a train of goddamn tweets or whatever to say, I think he's better than Obama, and then you got people who will say, I'm not coming out, he ain't better. Who the hell he think he is? Blah blah blah, and he's like, I never said that. Don't fucking do it on me.
Yeah. But I think here's the good news, and I want to say this in comparison to Avenatti. At the very least, Beto has survived a very like a nationalized race, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I think on another level of vetting, since he's already been there and done that, hopefully he will be savvy enough to understand the media machine and be able to do his own narrative and avoid all that horse shit. Since he already had to, deal with Ted Cruz
but he couldn't beat a vampire. So how in the hell,
Texas,
you know what I'm saying?
Though. Yeah, but it's Texas.
You still believe in him, huh?
There's malicious. I don't know. Okay. Well, shit. If not him, who else?
I don't know. He got that accusation right now. Domestic violence.
No. I'm not talking about Avenatti. No, I'm saying in comparison.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying Beto has already been vetted. He's already gone through a race. Avenatti has had the worst fucking 3 weeks I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, god damn.
They was just waiting. People have been researching him, and they got the They got the power of the government to look into everything that he's done.
Yeah.
And he didn't take that into consideration, which was kind of dumb. You want to stand up and talk shit, but there's things that you gotta be prepared for.
You was talking shit, Mike?
Yeah. Constantly. You had me on his Twitter, and he was like, then all of a sudden he was like, well, these are bad accusations. And they was like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. They was like, just shut up, goddammit.
That's what it felt like. I was watching it too. I was like,
man, I stopped following his ass. I was like, fuck that.
He bitched up.
I was like, damn,
dude.
Hold
up. What happened to you? He's supposed to be that one.
He's supposed to be gangster.
He shouldn't have said anything about running. That's what all that talk should have just been like a little quiet. Once you start talking about running, like it's like that's like the playoffs. That's like when, like you're not playing around with the regular.
You're talking about that playoff defense.
Yeah. So you got to pull up the old tapes.
Finals, bro.
You got the old tapes and say, "Here's his weakness right here." That's where you hit him at.
Yeah, you gotta come back harder. Like you can't be folding, playing defense.
Here's the only thing that fucks me up. How do you get arrested on suspicion of domestic violence? Like
evidence, right? Evidence.
Is that how that works? Because does that mean the woman calls versus being called to the home and being arrested then? I don't think. Like, say I'm at work. Hey, you want to come with me? Huh? What?
For what?
Suspicion of
suspicion of.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Well, your ex-wife, she's not even in this fucking state. Well, you got to come with us. You're talking shit about the president, so you better come with us peacefully.
You talking shit, yeah. Yeah, you can't make a scene at that point. Yeah, we tried to arrest him for domestic violence. And he resisted. And
we beat his ass.
Like, just gotta have a field day with that. So that fucks me up. Just on that, not to say I'm really rooting for him at this point, because I was like, wow.
Yeah.
He fucking, his stock tumbled, but I don't want to see him. I don't want to see, it's like reverse Kavanaugh. Is this real? How do I, where's the evidence? What do I believe? Where's
but you gotta wait. You gotta wait. I don't mind waiting. I don't. But I would rather get the evidence. Like Kavanaugh, there was a whole bunch of goddamn evidence. But then you could have got more. Yeah. With him, I'm like, look, you got that. Yeah. You got the evidence. They showed this one lady. They tweeted this one lady, and it was somebody else's wife. But they put it out there like, this is the woman that he beat. He was like, this is not even his wife. But because they put it out there and people have a glance on Twitter to be like, damn, this is fucked up. Damn, he swole her eye up and these bruises. That's not his fucking wife. And you had to have other people as like, look, compared to this was tweeted a couple of months ago with such and such and such. I'm like, man, let me get off this fucking bread. I'm like, I don't want to see no more of this.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
But you gotta be careful.
It's the optics, honestly, because he even kind of looks like the type that would just snap. You know what I'm saying? Like which is the Kavanaugh thing. Anger.
Yep.
When he was going crazy, it was kind of like, oh he looked guilty.
I'll say this in terms of optics. The report came out that I guess I don't know if he was seeing this woman, but Avenatti, the actress put a restraining order on Avenatti. So if you talk again to Mike's point, if you're talking shit, thinking about running for president, you fuck with the actress, bro. You Hollywood now?
And they got a restraining order on your ass, and you can't use the excuse like, well, the president did it. No, dude. We want to get rid of motherfuckers like that. We don't want to add the new guy in there. Yeah, we don't want the same type of guy in there. And he's like a what you call it sketch, old Chappelle's sketch, we'll choke a bitch. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So, you mentioned Hillary, and it was really interesting. I saw on the news about personal emails. And lock her up. But for some reason, Ivanka said, I wasn't aware of that.
She said, huh? What?
wasn't
What you
aware
mean?
of that.
Oops.
And we got that. You in the White House, you're doing all of this stuff, but here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a Google break? Because guess who? Somebody said that was fake news.
Really?
Yeah. So if you want to pause, anybody listening, take 20 seconds. Follow along.
Yeah. Well, the Atlantic had it, and I'm looking for I didn't follow up, so I got it from, Ivanka Trump isn't fooling anyone. Okay, so that's just the way it is. But, I mean, that's the thing is, this administration is, unraveling. And, Session is gone. And then they put in this fool is part of an indictment in Florida because he had this company that had, because that was on Rachel Maddow about the thing that they had a what is it, a time traveling machine.
So that was real?
Yeah.
Oh, that shit was real.
Yes. He said that's what he was endorsing, and he was calling people say, you better not, tell on us and making threats and everything. So now you got the whole government, even on the Republican side, to say, this guy's not legitimate. I don't think we should be doing this. If he make a decision and somebody goes to jail, all of this shit can be overturned while he's in there. I think we need to think about this. And they moving slowly. And then, what's his name? Kelly's supposed to be thrown out. And I think the Homeland Security woman too. He was kind of like he's kind of like, man, things aren't going right. I'm fucking going crazy in here.
I thought somebody got fired. I'm trying. Wasn't it the person under Kelly?
No. Oh, that was
Melania Trump asked.
The aide.
The aide. Yeah. And I think she tweeted it.
Fuck.
Did she tweet that shit?
I don't know.
But one way or another, we know it came from her, though.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, because we had this on previous podcasts when we were saying, oh, Melania, she didn't expect this. She really doesn't want to have nothing to deal with this. So do we stick with that narrative?
No, I said this in the last. That was one of my predictions, actually.
That what?
I predict that, in fact, I predicted Avenatti's media honeymoon is over and that Melania's honeymoon is over because Melania's fucked up with the whole African trip. Mm-hmm. Just her. Remember, she dressed up as like a colonizer when she was in Egypt.
Yeah.
It's like, is this fucking Return of the Mummy in this bitch? No, The Mummy Returns.
Indiana Jones and shit.
Indiana Jones and Jumanji.
Jumanji up in this.
So why you gotta go to Africa and be Jumanji? Like, okay.
But so my question, my question to both of y'all is, did being there so long has corrupted her to say, now I'm gonna use the power, or has she always been this way? Bro. And now it's kind of like, now I'm just gonna let it out.
She's fucking with Trump.
Yeah, I think she's all in now.
Yeah. So
ever since you got you just heard Michelle Obama. Remember there was this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She said how she asked
if you need anything,
Melania Trump, if you need anything, give me a call or anything, or reach out and call my people. My people, and apparently she never reached out. Mm-hmm. And then they put out that press release or whatever it was, a statement that was like, Melania Trump has her own advisors and does not need to, speak to the first lady or something like that. It was just like, I got my own people and I don't need to talk to her. And it was kind of like a backhand, like,
it's kind of like, sadly,
she was the first lady.
Yeah,
like, it was just like,
sadly, it was like, fuck her. I don't want to have nothing to do with her.
Yeah, it was like, I don't need her. We have our own smart people.
Mm-hmm. Non-black people.
Yeah. We actually
Eastern
have
European
smart people at the White House.
Let's keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. It's fucked up. I don't know. So I think she's fucked up because she.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
And now that she has that, it's been like, whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I got the power to do what the hell I want. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy if it's something like that, where if the Obamas or anybody going up against her, you got Trump that's like jumping in, trying to be Superman. I guarantee a lot of stuff that we're hearing about that we think it's Melania doing is probably Trump being like, "Oh yeah, you want to fire so and so? Boom, done, fired."
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, well, shit. It is what it is. That's probably how Trump makes up with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We know damn well they ain't. Yeah.
So, let's go to Africa and pick out your own diamonds. You know what I
mean? Yeah. What do you want to do? What's her slogan? Be best. Boom. All right, done. All right. You good? All right. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go to West Virginia. Go talk some shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Ohio again, or some shit.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Mississippi, whatever.
Tune in next time when we finish off with the attack on media and the CNN Acosta case, as well as the continued investigation with the AG and the Mueller's case. See ya.